Welcome back to the quest for immortality. All 4 Halloween Horror Nights in the world in 4 consecutive weekends. You guys know we survived Japan, and now it's time for Halloween Horror Nights Singapore. Let's go. So Halloween Horror Nights Singapore, 11. Man, what a good time. So this was opening weekend for Halloween Horror Nights, and there were so many people there. The lines were hours long. So we decided to, we want to enjoy this event ourselves. So we decided to skip the, first reactions and just go enjoy the event, film as much as we can, and then come back here and report back on it. So that's where we are today. And the first thing I think we're going to do is
The Curse of the Caraman.
Wow, she's on top of it this week. The Curse of the Caraman.
Caraman.
Check it out. We ended up starting with the cursed Caraman. We visited the village of the curse that was cursed by the gods. Once prosperous, now they exist in a state of perpetual torment. Can they escape their impending doom? They could not, and nor could we really escape the amount of people at this event.
Yeah.
But Tara, what did you think about this scare zone?
This one was good. It's like an Indian kind of village that's cursed by God, and the detail and the smoky, the fog, everything was good.
It was good. It was very dark. I did like, some of the. There were so many people going through at the time when we went through it that you couldn't really get scared because all you heard was people screaming. So,
Yes.
Rebirth of the matriarch. Familial love turns toxic when innocent victims are lured into the family horror for a deadly ritual to bring their matriarch back to life. Patira, what were your thoughts about this house?
I love it. I love this house. This is my, not gonna tell you yet, but it's my favorite. Like, it was so.
Oh, don't tell us already.
It was so good, and the detail is incredible. The culture is, like Asian culture. The funeral, Chinese funeral, is top notch. Like,
Yeah, it was a Chinese mythos house. It was very detailed.
they have smell and like
Uh,
fog and everything, and it's good. I'm very sensitive of the smell. It was good. It was good.
the biggest highlight I have from this house actually is, and I have the note right here. You can see it, Patira. It says worst smells. This house definitely had the worst smells from what smelled like kind of vomit. Dead Man's Wharf scare zone. My thought. I'm going to start with my thoughts, if that's okay. This was a great scare zone. It was almost like a haunted house. It was just outside. I mean, they had so much detail in it. I thought it was fantastic. What did you think, Patira?
I am a fan of Pirate of the Caribbean, and it
okay.
just looked like Pirate of the Caribbean in the zombie movie. If you could imagine, like like a fisherman, the what's it called, the octopus zombie, who's there
Yeah.
too.
So it was interesting. Like, the way I originally wrote it down as, it was like, a fisherman's wharf that they're not just catching fish, but the actual description of it is, a madame dragon The most vile pirate to sail the seven seas, and you must find yourself walking the plank.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they had built for it and what it actually turned out to be. I think was different, but in a great way. It was really detailed, really cool. And again, it was like a haunted house, but it wasn't. It was a scare zone.
Yeah, it's like you will see zombies chopping fish and selling fish to the human. It was cool. It was cool.
So the next house of the night was DU Descendants into Hell. Go on a macabre journey through the gruesome levels of DU and face King Yama's judgment. Are you worthy of being saved? I think in reality the answer is no, but
we'll find out.
we're still here, so we made it. But Sarah, what are your thoughts about this house?
It was something like prepare you when you like afterlife. I think if you a sinner, it was good. It was good. They have spooky things in this haunted house. It was a
true quest. You went through various stages of hell, which I don't know if any of you know the Chinese mythos about hell and the many stages of it. But you went through various stages, from it actually being cold and snowy to it being, hot and hellacious. The detail in this house to me was just bar none. It was really good. There was a section where you walked up and you basically could look down a bottomless pit, and the way they did it with whatever it was, plexiglass and mirrors, was fantastic. And you go from there to literally over a wooden plank bridge, like literally a wood plank bridge.
Yes.
It was cool. I have to say, the biggest jump scare I've gotten of this trip, of the quest so far, has come from that house. Bonus points. If we had someone to video edit this would be ding, 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 ding. Bonus points. So, Grim Encounters. The Pied Piper has twisted all of your favorite fairy tales with his sinister tunes. Can you escape his forest of nightmares without being cursed? But Tira, I mean, the Grim Encounters, I don't know. It was definitely a fairy tale house. Everything from, I think it was Snow White to
Sleeping Beauty
to rats that I think have some meaning and something that I don't remember. What were your thoughts of this house?
It was okay. I wasn't enjoy that much because it's every corner have like a different smell. When you walk in, you smell like a candy bakery store, and then when you walk in, you smell like flour. Another corner is blood, and it's just like, oh, I wasn't enjoy this haunted house.
I also noted smells in this one, but I didn't have it as the worst. I had whatever it was, the rebirth of the matriarch as the worst smells. But yeah, there were definitely smells in it. It was okay. But it was also very short. Like, it was the shortest house. Yes. Like half of. Honestly, I think Dead Man's Wharf was longer, than the house. So we'll see how it rates in the end. So one of the biggest IPs this year was The Weekend, After Hours Till Dawn, Nightmare. Very similar to The Weekend Haunted House that Patira and I went through last year in Universal Studios Orlando. What were your thoughts?
It was okay. We have done it before. It's not much different.
But there were differences.
They were different, but not much.
There were
In my
differences.
opinion.
Anyone who went to the LA or Orlando weekend house last year, it's very similar. It's probably, I would say, 70% the same. There were probably 3 to 4 scenes that were different, and it was good. I actually really enjoyed it. Patira is not the biggest fan of the weekend houses, just because last year when we were in Orlando, all they did was play the weekend music.
The weekend music haunted me, scarier than a haunted house.
Yeah, and while I actually like the weekend, I think Patira does too. After hearing it with last year for 2 days, for 8 hours each day, it got tiring. But for me, it's coming back. All right, so our final scare zone of the night was the hacker. Enter a terrifying cyber hellscape where technology rules and feeds off the desperate souls of mankind.
It was okay.
It was okay. I liked the music. I had a little bit of techno going on. Didn't even know I liked techno, but I did really like it. But the scare zone itself was okay at best. There could have been more characters, throughout it, and the overall theming, the hacking theme, and it was very much a video game theme. So I wasn't the biggest fan, but it wasn't bad either. And yeah, that's basically my overall thoughts.
It was okay. It's just have the show on the when the people come to dance on the stage, and that's the highlight, and that's it. There's a few actors on the road, and that's it. They didn't do much. They're just walking around acting like zombie, and that's it. It was okay. It's not much.
It was okay.
It's nothing scary, nothing.
So the final house of the night was none other than Netflix's All of Us Are Dead. Definitely the most popular house and the one with the longest line. So basically, step into the halls of Hyosan High from the Netflix hit series All of Us Are Dead. Will you survive the hordes of zombies or be turned into the undead? So it was a typical zombie house. I compare this to Biohazard in Japan. And yeah, this one was better. I have to be honest, this one was better. What are your thoughts, Patera?
I mean, if we both watch the movie before we go into this house, we might be more enjoy the house more. The zombie is scary.
We definitely missed out on some Easter eggs and the overall story to some aspect, but it was still pretty good. So I'd recommend checking it out. And we're going to check out the Netflix show, so we'll let you know how we feel about that in the future. Okay, so we're back to wrap Halloween Horror Nights Singapore up. Let's start with our rankings, then we'll give you our overall thoughts. Let's start with the scare zones. There were 3 scare zones. What was your least favorite of the 3? Number 3.
The hacker.
The
My
hacker.
least favorite, yes.
My least favorite was the cursed Kuramam, just because it was so dark and there were so many people, couldn't really enjoy it. I'll go to my number 2. My number 2 was the hacker. So also wasn't the greatest, but wasn't too bad. What was your number 2, Patira?
My number 2 is the cursed Kiramin. It has something to do more than the hacker. The hacker is just plain and nothing.
So that leaves both of our number 1s as Dead Man's Wharf. I mean, hands down, that was by far the best I thought.
The best, yes. Agree.
All right, so scare zones done and ranked. Now we have the 5 houses. I think you already gave this away in your review, Patira.
I
but,
did not.
Well, you're number 1, I think. Let's start with number 5. I'm going to start this one, and I'm going to go with Grim Encounters, which was the fairy tale house. It was just really short. It was really short and didn't really appeal to me. What was your number 5?
Mine is The Weekend. The Weekend.
Number 5.
After hours.
Told you
Nightmare.
guys. She hates the
I
weekend.
had done it before, and it's nothing much different. So it's what I expected. It's not something new. It's not what I experienced it before. So that would be
Number 4.
my number 4 is Netflix. All of Us Are Dead.
Netflix, all of us. Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Again, we have difference of opinions. I went with Rebirth of the Matriarch. It just wasn't. Yeah, I know where that's ranking for you. We already know. It just, I don't know. Compared to the other houses, I just like the other ones way better. I'm gonna move on to my number 3, which was Netflix. All of Us Are Dead. So not too far off from your ranking, Patira. It was a good zombie house, but nothing like way out of the ordinary.
Mine is Grim
3?
Encounters.
Grim Encounters.
Yeah.
So I think our, besides the weekend and the Matriarch being the big differentiators, we're not too far off. What was your number 2?
My number 2 is Descent into
DU,
Hell.
Descent into Hell. Okay, I think that's fair. My number 2 was the weekend, After Hours, Till Dawn. I really liked it. I'm gonna hit my number 1 house, and this was really, to me, a big differentiator, and that was the DU Descent into Hell. I mean, just the details, being able to see the bottomless pit, walking over a wooden plank, experiencing snow, and then experiencing fire. It just really got me. What was your number 1? As we can do the math as we go.
Rebirth of the Matriarch. That's my number 1.
Is it because it touched upon a lot of the lure and mythos of a lot of Asian culture?
It's very close to like Thai culture. Not even so it's really spooky. Like your grandfather, your grandparents will scare you with this kind of story when you become like bad, or do something bad, or you not obey their, like when you become stubborn, they will scare you with this kind of thing. So that's what I grew up with.
Got it. It had a touch to you from your childhood. Okay, let's move to overall thoughts. Pros, I'm going to start. Express Pass. We didn't know this on night 1, but the Express Pass is really cheap. It's actually about the same cost as general admission. And for the crowds and the lines, it's worth it. We could have done everything in one night instead of 2 and paid basically the same. So that's one of my pros. I have one other, but before I get to my other pro, what was one of your pros?
Mine is Halloween Horror Night atmosphere is there in Singapore compared to Japan, which is very lack and like nothing. But the vibe is there. The Halloween is there.
I also had the atmosphere, so that was my other real pro, especially compared to Japan. And again, I think because Japan had the whole day thing going on. Did you have any other pros?
Like more houses for us to do.
Moving on to cons, my big con is everything's compact. It's probably the smallest Universal Studios out of all of them. So with that comes tight spaces. It was opening weekend, the weekend we went, so it was just really crowded. You couldn't escape the crowds. The true horror of Halloween Horror Nights Singapore was the crowd. Okay, well, that does Halloween Horror Nights Singapore. You'll notice we have a different background behind us than where we filmed the rest of this video, and that is because we are officially in Hollywood and getting ready to start Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood tonight, part 3 of our quest for immortality. So see you guys then.
Ciao.